Hi everyone, and welcome to today's video where we're going to be doing a guide for Provence for EU4 1.31 Leviathan. If you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to leave a like and subscribe, since only 20% of you are subscribed, and you can become a member today. So Provence is a nation in the French region. It starts off with one subject, Lorraine. It is our junior partner, and we do start off allied to France. A pretty nice position, if I do say so myself, and we have a very nice and very fun mission tree that's also extremely powerful. I would say Provence is one of the most underrated nations in EU4, but by this point, a ton of people already know the potential that Provence has. You can form France as Provence, but you can also form Jerusalem. There is an achievement for that, the Good King Rene, which I already have. And we do start off with the same dynasty, Valois, as France, so we could even get a random PU on them, which has happened to me. In fact, it did happen in my achievement run. So let's take a look at what we need to do as them. First, I do recommend restarting until you get the Pope willing to ally you. It won't take much. He is friendly more often than not. I only restarted once and I got him to be friendly. So that is what we are gonna do. We are gonna ally the Pope. We need this because he will give us Avignon right here if we improve enough with him. And we're also going to start building a spy network on Brittany. Next, we're going to get some rivals. I do recommend Brittany, Savoy, and Burgundy. Next, we're going to summon the Diet. You can pick whichever agenda is best for you. We're going to give the Clergy Clerical Advisory Council, we're going to give the Nobility increased levies and aristocratic councillors, and we're going to give the Bourgeoisie Patronage of the Arts. In my case, I'm going to give it to them twice because I do have an estate agenda to get 30 prestige, and there we go. I've basically already done it. You can give it twice. It's not an exploit or anything. We're also going to give them Commercial Advisory Board and indebted it to the burghers, as well as private trade fleets. I'm not giving out the +1 monarch point privileges because we aren't going to be expanding fast enough in a conquest sense, and that low crownland will hurt us. You can give out maybe 1 or 2 if you like, or if you don't care about stability that much, you can give out all 3. Personally, I'm not going to do it. Then we're going to seize land. It's not a big deal that these guys popped up, it's only 3 of them, and it happened because I gave Patronage of the Arts twice instead of once. Our capital is in Anjou right here, not a place where we really want it to be, so when we have extra admin points, we are gonna move it to Marseille down here, a much better location. This isn't something we need to do immediately, so we're only gonna do it when we have spare monarch points. Next, it's time to hire some advisors. Get a morale or discipline guy, as always, a diplo rep or improve relations guy, as always. I do have both of them. I'm gonna get the improve relations guy, and get whichever level 1 guy you want. I'm gonna get this tax guy. We're also gonna send these 7 light ships to protect trade in Genoa and call them home during war. Right now we are collecting in Champagne and Genoa, and we're gonna leave it like that, but later when we move our capital to Marseille, we're gonna transfer from Bordeaux to Champagne and from Champagne to Genoa. Now it's time to kick off our mission tree with this mission, the Claims of King Rene, where we need to have over 100 development or own Corsica. Now, it's pretty hard to own Corsica at this point because Genoa is in the HRE. There is a strat where you can move your capital down here to Toulon or Forcalquier or one of these 2 provinces, ally Austria and get above 150 relations with them and join the HRE. But that's not very reliable because in my case, Austria has rivaled me. You need to break your alliance with France, then ally them again, and it is something I have done, but I don't recommend it if you want to have a smooth campaign. So we're going to focus on getting 100 development by fighting Brittany. So now we're going to build up our army to force limit, which is 13, build our navy to force limit, which is 15, and wait to get a claim on Brittany. In the meantime, improve relations with the Pope and get them to above 150. You can also buy indulgence for your sins. When the surrender of Main Event fires and England declares war on France, you of course should accept the call to arms from France, and you will want to help them out. Go siege down some provinces or something, you'll get favors with them much faster, and you will be able to call them in your own wars. And now that I have 150 relations with the Pope, it's only been a few months, and this is because we're allied to them and bought indulgences for our sins, we can complete the mission, negotiate for Avignon. And here's what happens. We get permanent claims on the south of France, and the Pope just gives us Avignon. Why the AI never does this? I have no idea. Now, we're still waiting for claims in Brittany, and I've also started building 3 more light ships. These are the provinces we got claims on, by the way. Once we have a claim on this province right here, the only province we can actually claim, it is time to declare our war against Brittany. They could have a strong ally, like France or England for example, but it doesn't happen very often. In my case, they are guaranteed by England, but since I'm already at war with England, I am gonna declare on them. If they've allied someone strong, you could restart. It hasn't even been a year. A good idea to get some extra cash during this initial war is to put 1k stacks all around these provinces so we can loot them. Now once you've beaten up Brittany sufficiently, I recommend taking these two provinces from them, humiliating them because they are our rival, getting some war reps and ducats if you can. It's most important to take these two provinces and humiliate them. And that's our first war done. Now we can take the mission, The Claims of King Rene. Now, if Naples is independent by this point, and they should be, you will get a restoration of Union CB on Naples. But if Naples are still a junior partner under Aragon, then you will get cores on their areas. In my case, they are independent, so I will get a restoration of Union. Those are both excellent CBs, and it shouldn't really matter which one you get in your case, since they're both very powerful. But don't take this mission if you're not ready to declare on Naples yet. In my case, I am gonna chill for like a year or two and then take it, and then I'll be declaring on Naples. In my case, they're allied to Siena. They don't usually have strong allies. They can sometimes ally Castile, Aragon, France, or Austria though. But by this point, you should have enough favors with France, and you should be able to call them in to help you out in that war if they have a strong ally. At this point, we also have a ton of forts we don't really need, so we can actually destroy the one in Anjou, our capital, and we can even destroy the one in Avignon. You can destroy the one in Verdun too if you want. If you're still in that war against England, around this time you might want to check if you can get something from them. In my case, I can get war reps and 340 ducats from them because I do have 17% war score participation. You can do it, or you can stay in the war if you want. It doesn't really matter. France won't be too mad. At this point, you can also check if you can get some other allies too. Just make sure they aren't rivals of France. In my case, we can see that I can ally, well, a bunch of nations. We do have Diplorep +1 in our traditions. I'm gonna ally Castile. Now that some time has passed, it is time to declare against Naples. Even if they are a junior partner of Aragon, France should be able to help you out. Well, in my case they won't because they're tired a bit, but either way, you will probably be declaring using the Restoration of Union CB, which we're gonna get right now. And I'm stationed in the Papal States right now because I am able to call them in. That way I won't get black flagged. So it's time to declare against Naples. And once we've completely decimated Naples, it is time to enforce our union over them by selecting the Union with Naples Peace option and getting all their money. And just like that, we have a personal union over them. If Aragon didn't release them, which is very rare, you will just fight them and get your cores back with the help of France. Now we need to move quickly again, because this next mission gives us a restoration of Union CB on Aragon. That's right, now by this point, the Iberian wedding shouldn't have. And I just noticed that I'm actually in a war with Aragon right now. Okay, so what seems to have happened is Aragon declared their own Restoration of Union war on Naples in the same time that I was doing my war. Now, this isn't very likely to happen in your campaign, but it's just something I'm gonna have to deal with. Now, as I was saying, we are gonna get a Restoration of Union CB on Aragon. This does complicate things a little bit for me, since the Iberian wedding might fire very soon after I'm done with this war. Thankfully, since it is a defensive war, I can call in France and the Pope and Castile. And I'm just gonna white piece them so I can fight them later with the Restoration of Union CB. But as I was saying, the Iberian wedding shouldn't have fired yet, and you can just check whether Aragon or Castile have female and male rulers, and if it is possible for it to trigger. In my case, none of them have a female ruler, and it can't fire right now. So let me just deal with Aragon real quick. And like I said, I'll just white piece Aragon because I do want to fight them quickly. Now here's the part where I would say now we declare on Aragon, but in my case, I am gonna have to wait 5 years, so that's what I'm gonna be doing. In your case, you can prepare to fight them immediately after the Naples War. Just strengthen your army and make sure your allies will come to help you. And once again, don't take this mission until you're ready to declare on them. During this time, I will also move my capital to Marseille. It's called Ice or whatever it's pronounced during this point in the game. And there we go, now our main trade node is Genoa, and we can tell this guy to transfer. Actually, we can send a guy to transfer, and we'll tell this guy to transfer as well. At this point, we should be making pretty nice income from trade. For your second government reform, you should take strengthen noble privileges. At this point, Castile here does have a female heir, so once Maria over here ascends to the throne, that's when the Iberian wedding can fire in my case. Keep an eye out for stuff like this. It can also happen if they have a consort-led regency. So both of these guys, their heirs are minors right now. If their king dies and the queen becomes the regent, the Iberian wedding can still fire. And in my case, Aragon did just get a queen regent, so I need to declare on them quick. First, I'll just hop out of this Burgundian war that France has called me into. And now it's time to take this mission. Of course, you will be doing it a bit earlier than me, and we get a Restoration of Union CB on Aragon. It is time to immediately declare on them, and I will call in Castile in this war. You should also be able to call in France. In my case, they won't come because they're at war with Burgundy. For your first idea group, I recommend taking influence ideas. You already know why. We have very powerful subjects, and we're gonna be getting even more. At this point, you can also focus on Diplo. And finally, after 8 long years in my situation, I have finally managed to get enough war score to enforce my union over Aragon. Now this is actually a pretty easy war, because France is gonna help you out. But in my case, they couldn't come because they were in a war with Burgundy, and Castile peaced out because they got the civil war disaster, and I was left fighting Aragon by myself. As you know, they have massive armies, about 2 times more than Provence. But it did take me 8 years, but I finally got this PU. In your case, you will have already gotten it by 1460, so it is finally time to enforce my PU over them. Now once you get your PU over Aragon, you will be able to unlock 2 missions. King of Sicily, which gives us permanent claims over here. These will enable us to become Jerusalem, and we can also unlock the mission King of Aragon, which, depending on the situation, can either give us a Restoration of Union CB on Hungary or claims over there. Now, this is the least likely PU you're gonna get, right? You're pretty much guaranteed to get Naples, and if you're fast, you can get Aragon too. But Hungary isn't really up to you how fast you are. It depends on if they become a junior partner under Austria, something we can't control. In my case though, they haven't become a junior partner under Austria, so I can declare a Restoration of Union war on them. First, I'm gonna need to chill a bit though, because this war with Aragon was much harder than was supposed to be in my case. In your situation, once you've gotten the PU over Aragon, you can start expanding into Savoy, given the fact that they have left the HRE by this point. Or you could even finish off Brittany if France haven't prevented you, like in my case. Once again, don't take this mission to PU Hungary if you have the PU option over them, of course, unless you're ready. And I just got a Regency Council, so looks like I'm gonna have to wait for that Hungary PU a little longer. For your second idea group, I recommend taking quantity ideas. This will help us build up a massive army and keep better control over our subjects, as well as help us in future wars. Once you get enough favors with France, you can simply ask them to return Maine to us, since it is our core province anyway. Pretty nice. I also have another core in Dauphine right here. For your tier 3 government reform, I recommend taking centralized bureaucracy. We are gonna have to promote a bunch of high dev cultures outside of the French culture group, such as Neapolitan, for example. Now that my ruler finally turned 15 and I don't have a Regency Council anymore, it is time for me to declare my Restoration of Union war on Hungary. Like I said earlier, this is the personal union you're least likely to get due to the fact that they often end up in a PU under Austria due to the event. But if you don't have the PU CB, you are going to be conquering here anyway, because you do want to set up a couple of different routes for expansion. Of course, we're only going to take this mission now that we're ready. And I will be declaring on Hungary and calling in Poland. You will have done this about 10 or maybe even 15 years earlier than me. And I can finally peace out Hungary and get them in a personal union. Of course, it took a little longer than it was supposed to be because once again, my ally peaced out. But this just goes to show that you can defeat Hungary, Naples, and Aragon all by yourself, even though it will be very difficult. And just like that, we have Hungary in a PU, or we may have conquered provinces over here if they were already in a PU under Austria. Now we can fulfill the mission King of Hungary. It's not very good. Now that that's all done, it's time to declare on Savoy and get some provinces from them. Like I said, it is important for us to expand a little bit just so our subjects get in line. Of course, when fighting Savoy, we are going to be focusing on taking provinces in the Genoa trade node, along with all their money and war reps. I am once again gonna ask France to return a core of mine. Easy. Even if you have all 3 of these nations as personal subjects at this point, it shouldn't be a problem keeping them all loyal. Unlike vassals, personal union subjects don't take into account each other's strength together versus you, whereas all the vassals, they calculate their strength grouped up as opposed to individually. Of course, by this point we have gotten the idea to get Liberty Desire -15 from influence ideas. You can also support loyalists in them to get Liberty Desire 20% lower, and if they're still disloyal, you can just dev a couple of their provinces and that should bring down Liberty Desire by a bit. As you can see at this point, none of my subjects are disloyal. By the way, I did lose Lorraine to Pretender Rebels, but it's not a big deal. At this point, when aggressive expansion is high in this region because we are going to be pushing into the Italians, you can declare using your subjects' claims. For example, if you have Hungary, you can declare on some nations they border that they have claims on. Or if you've expanded here directly, it's a good idea to fight the Balkan miners over here, or vassalize them and use them to reconquer cores from Hungary or the Ottomans. Maybe Aragon has some claims in the Maghreb, like on Tunis or Morocco. Or, in my case, I'm gonna be declaring on Castile, who I broke my alliance with, to get Aragon's core back over here and get some provinces for myself. Basically fight whoever you can that your subject has claims on. At this point, we're still not fighting France because we do need to expand a bit more ourselves before turning our back on them. And I am gonna declare on Castile using the Reconquest CB and call in France. Of course, if your subjects are still disloyal, you should be staying in wars as long as possible. They can't declare an independence war if they are in a war with you. And now that I've won my war with Castile, I'm gonna give Aragon this core back. I'm gonna give these two provinces to Navarra so they're not just a wasted Diplo slot. And I'm gonna take these two provinces for myself, along with war reps and all their money. Basically, take whatever you want in these wars, or as much as you can. And there we go, we've expanded ourselves a little bit, and our subjects a little bit as well. And even though it's 1504 for me, by around the 1480s, your game should look a little something like this. Basically, we've started out by completing the first mission, the claims of King Rene, by fighting Brittany. And you may have all of Brittany by this point. I was stopped by France, so I couldn't get the rest of them, but you may have all of them for yourself. After that, we got the personal union CB over Naples, or we got cores on the provinces they own. Either of those are very powerful. After we've completed that, we got the personal union CB over Aragon, enforced-star personal union over them, and enforced-star personal union over Hungary, or gotten claims over there as well. And in the meantime, you should have been expanding in various directions, such as, for example, in Brittany, maybe even in Burgundy, and in the Italian nations over here, of course, once they've left the HRE. Now, like I said, it's like 99% certain that you're gonna get Naples in a PU. If you're fast enough, it's like 90% certain that you're gonna get Aragon in a PU as well. The Iberian wedding shouldn't have fired that early, and you will have enough time to get Naples and Aragon. Whereas the Hungary personal union, like I said, that's about 50-50, and it isn't up to us whether we get it or not. Even if you don't get it, it's not a big deal. You will still conquer here and expand in this direction once you get claims on them. Of course, it is 1504 for me, but it should be around the 1480s for you, because I got unlucky with a couple of stuff like the Aragon truce, France leaving when I fought Aragon, Poland leaving when I fought Hungary, and that 10-year regency council that I had. So that set me back around 15 to 20 years, and in your case, you should look like this in the 1480s. After this point, we are just gonna continue to expand in all the regular directions we have been expanding, like for example in Burgundy, in Brittany, in North Italy, and then moving down and getting all of Italy, leaving the Pope for last, of course, expanding into Iberia once we've gotten Aragon, and then expanding into the Maghreb as well, using some of Aragon's claims if we haven't integrated them yet. Of course, once you've integrated them, you can build your own claims on the Maghrebi nations. You can also push Hungary's claims in Wallachia and Moldavia, in Serbia and Bosnia perhaps, and you can even do your subjects missions depending on if they've accomplished something or not. All of our subjects at this point should have pretty good missions, and you can help them complete them and get some claims for yourself. After this point, of course, you will be growing yourself and your subjects, not so much. And because we do have claims in this region over here, we will be keeping an eye out on when the Ottomans fight the Mamluks. That is the exact point where we need to declare on the Mamluks ourselves. So once these two guys are in a war right here, just declare on the Mamluks yourself. You won't even need allies at this point. Your PU subjects, or the growth you've had from the claims instead of the PU subjects, should be enough to defeat the Mamluks by this point, and you can just get these three provinces right here if you want to form Jerusalem extra fast fast. You can take provinces up here. We do have claims on those, and release Syria. As you already know, they have a ton of cores in this region right here. And you will be able to become Jerusalem and complete the Good King Rene achievement. Once you've expanded a little bit more in Iberia, in Italy, in the Balkans, maybe even the Maghreb, that is the point where you should break your alliance with France. I would do it around the 1550s, so that means around the 1520s or 1530s for you. After that, you can press your claims on them over here, release Toulouse, use them to reconquer cores, release Gascony, which France have already done because they're over governing capacity, and get their cores back. As you can see, they have a ton of them. Once you conquer all these provinces in southern France, you will get permaclaims on the entire French region, and then conquer the rest of it. You could even get a random PU over France because we do have the same dynasty. Like I said, that is something that happened when I did the Good King Rene achievement. By that point, it won't be a problem keeping them loyal. You could even get lucky and get them very early in the game. It still won't be a problem keeping them loyal, trust me. Like I said, just enable support loyalists, dev their provinces, stay in wars and stuff like that. And by this point, we're already number 3 on the Great Powers list. Almost number 2, we're only 4 dev behind France. I do recommend staying Catholic as Provence when the Protestant Reformation comes around, but it's pretty much up to you. You could go Protestant, why not, right? Of course, you should have been and you should continue to build buildings during this time. As we can see, I have some marketplaces constructed in my center of trade provinces and in my subject center of trade provinces as well. I've also been building some production buildings in high value trade goods. We can see the blue ones right there. They generally produce cloth, salt and stuff like that. A couple of churches too, why not get some extra income, and you will continue to build all the important buildings. If you stay as Provence or if you form France, you could of course trade company some of these trade nodes right here, provided they aren't in your subcontinent. So Safi, Tunis, Alexandria, Aleppo, Ragusa, Pest over here, you can trade company all of them. If you do form Jerusalem though, your main trade node will become Alexandria. I do recommend keeping your capital over here and moving your main trade node back to Genoa, or just moving your capital back to Genoa, because it is a much better trade node than Alexandria. We need to be pushing that way. And if you keep your capital in the Levant, you will be able to trade company these regions, which isn't very beneficial. So I do recommend moving your capital back over here so you can trade company trade nodes right here. After this, you could take economic or humanist for your third idea group, and I recommend taking another military one for your fourth one, such as offensive or quality. After that, it's up to you. Trade or Diplo would be pretty nice. For your next idea groups, you should take meritocratic recruitment for tier 4, royal decree for tier 5, l'état c'est moi for tier 6, and political absolutism for tier 7. And of course, you will start integrating all your subjects once 50 years have passed. For example, I can start integrating Naples in my case. And like I said, by around the 1480s, your realm should look a little something like this. If you're not sure if your game is gonna go like mine, or if you're not that confident in your abilities, this save file will be available to all YouTube members in the Save Games Discord channel. Let me know in the comments below what's the next nation that I should do a guide on. If you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to leave a like and subscribe, since only 20% of you are subscribed, and you can become a member today. And join the Discord. The link is in the description. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time with another EU4 video.